Let's see who's gonna come up on here today. Rev, greetings. You know, I'm gonna let this live fill up. I'm gonna wait till the people get on here. I'm gonna let the people get up on here. As you come on this live, please share it. Hop on here and chop it up with y'all real quick about which is more dangerous to African liberation and African freedom. Is it U.S.? Is it the United States and their allies and Western imperialism? Or is it the extremist Islamic jihad that's being carried out from the Middle East? That's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, let me just give all praises and due to the Father, to the Abba, that many people don't know about, Saladin Hajj Shakur. I just want to give, a revolutionary greetings to that spirit, the father of the Shakur tribe. Many of y'all probably never heard of him, but yeah, definitely do your research on that so you get an idea of the origin of where the Shakurs come from in North America. So yeah, all praises due to the father, Abba Saladin Shakur, and everybody that comes from under that tree and that tribe and that umbrella. I'm trying to hold on. I'm gonna start in a few seconds. I'm trying to share this video. See if I can get this video on my other timeline. Oh, we're gonna chop it up. Good evening, my brother. Shout out to Dark Car. What it do? It's a controversial topic, man. So I felt like today was the perfect day to really chop it up about this topic because I'm pretty sure everybody has been seeing what has happened in the last couple of days pertaining to what's going on in Syria. So I felt like that was a great place to springboard my topic off, which is what happened the other day in Syria with the ISIL leader that was murdered and killed by the CIA, the United States of America, and their allies, which is ironic, you know what I'm saying, that the allies that they use and the informants that they use were the same people that they abandoned a couple of weeks ago. And now you see the clown Donald Trump all on the news bragging about killing Baghdadi the other day. And, Donald Trump is a clown, man. Like, I don't know how any new African, or black people globally can take Donald Trump serious, man. Like, Donald Trump is the joke of the world, period. The man is a avaricious, fascist businessman, a psychic sociopath. That's what Donald Trump is, man. I don't see how anybody can take Donald Trump serious. I don't even like to listen to Donald Trump talk because he talks with no sense at all. He talks like, truthfully, the way he is as a human being, as a person. He's an avaricious billionaire pig, period. You feel me? And I don't know how any African or any black people even deal with a Donald Trump. He's a liar. He lies to the world. He lies to the globe. You feel me? Because the man was never capable and never was mentally fit to even be a president of no nation. That's just facts. This man should have never been a president of no nation. The man is a psychopath, man. He's a sociopath that doesn't care about nobody but him and his family and the crooks and the criminals that he works with on a daily basis and gets money with on a daily basis. This is facts, period. You know what I'm saying? So I thought this was a good topic to springboard this topic off because I wanted to bring this to the light. Like, okay, African people globally, you feel me? I just want to understand, how do African people globally see themselves in the world and in the midst of all this so-called terrorism? You know what I'm saying? That's coming from both sides, not just one side. See, a lot of people like to hold the weight of the terrorism in the world on just these politically extremist groups that's pushing extremist Islamic ideology. You feel me? Like, people want to like to just point the finger at them like they're the problem. But no, you got another problem that's been pushing terrorism on the world just as long as these groups over here has been pushing terrorism, which is the United States of America and their allies in the CIA and Western imperialism. You see what I'm saying? Because I really don't see too many I don't see too many African, you know what I'm saying, nations that really calls out the United States of America, you know what I'm saying, and their allies in Western European imperialism. See, that's one thing that has taken Africa down the ladder, is that Africa, and we know why, you know what I'm saying, we ain't gonna sugarcoat it. We know why a lot of African states and African nations don't call out the United States of America, you know what I'm saying, and their allies in Western imperialism, because we do understand that there are a bunch of puppets, neo-colonialist leaders on the continent that's being controlled with a battery in their back by Western imperialism. There, you know, there's really no liberating or liberationist nations left in Africa at this point, except for the oppressed peoples and the oppressed nations, you feel me, that we see over there fighting for nationhood and sovereignty. I ain't really got to name them all. You should know them all. If you truly care about Africa and African liberation, you should know who's on the continent that's truly trying to maintain to the principles and the cause of African liberation and trying to liberate Africa. You should know the groups. If you don't know the groups, I suggest you need to start getting educated on the groups who still struggling and keeping up the struggle in the fight to free Africa. You feel me? But it's not many. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of those nations are, you know what I'm saying, being pushed, you know, like the Western imperialism and the Islamic extremism is pushing into Northern Africa. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I decided to do this topic today, because we can't talk about the total liberation of African people globally if we're not talking about the liberation of Africa and acknowledging and speaking up on what's going on in Africa right now. You know what I'm saying? Because Northern Africa is turning into what you see going on in the Middle East right now. You know what I'm saying? It's already being pushed into Western Africa countries. We see that in Nigeria today with the you know, Islamic extremist groups like Boko Haram, the Fulani herdsmen. We see that going on in Nigeria. They have pushed that ideology and that warfare into Nigeria, and it's getting a whole lot of innocent ethnic groups in Nigeria genocided and murdered. You know what I'm saying? So we need to take a look at a closer look at what's going on, man. Like, when it comes to total African liberation and freedom, because like we always stated, if Africa is not free, there's no way no black people on this planet will ever be free, man. You know what I'm saying? Because this is our ancestral land, people. This is our, like Khalid Muhammad said, Africa is African people globally, is your throne. It's your ancestral home. You feel me? So, by speaking on that, we must, you know, keep our eyes peeled on what's going on that could affect and keep Africans in the African continent from obtaining liberation. And that brings me to the topic today. What's keeping that from happening, which is more dangerous, Is it Western? Is it United States and Europe, Western imperialism? Or is it Middle Eastern Islamic jihadist ideology? You see what I'm saying? I don't like to see the reason why you're not hearing me say terrorism, because I really don't like to use that word terrorism, because it's deeper than that. Because you got to understand, like I'm always telling people, you got to understand, this is not just terrorism. You see what I'm saying? This is generational. You see what I'm saying? This is generational warfare amongst tribes. So I can take it all the way back to the tribes of what is so-called called the Middle East today, Africa, and globally. You feel me? Like, you have to always start with the early history, which is the tribes. You see what I'm saying? It's tribes come before nations. You see what I'm saying? So the conflicts that's been going on and what we know as today as the Middle East and Africa started with tribes, tribalism. You see what I'm saying? Even with the Europeans and the Europeans in Europe, all this conflict started with tribes. You feel me? Tribal way of life. You feel me? So that just brings me to my point of, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to, when we doing this shit scientifically and we looking at this shit politically and we trying to dissect and diagnose what's going on in the news today and what's going on in the Middle East and see if this shit is a danger to African freedom and African liberation, we must always go back to the origins. You see what I'm saying? To understand what's going on today. See, this is why you got to always teach, man, that we must be students of history, which what we call historical materialism. It's history, you know what I'm saying, and understanding your reality in the material world scientifically. That's facts. I'm a historic materialist. You see what I'm saying? I'm a dialectical materialist. This is what I study. You feel me? All this shit is a science. So you can understand what's going on in the material world. This is why I'm always telling people, like, political education, don't get me wrong, I know people love religions and things of that nature, but the most important thing that you should be learning in this world is political education, man. So you won't be walking around in this world ignorant to what's going on in the world. You see what I'm saying? We must become, students and scientists of political education, man. This is so you can pass this on to your next generations. You can teach your kids. You can teach your family. You can teach your community. You can teach your clans. You can teach your nation. You see what I'm saying? All Africans should be doing this that's oppressed. If you are oppressed African or new African, you should be incorporating political education 24/7, 365/7 days a year. It's a necessary. You know how they say some things in life is a necessity? Political education is a necessity. You feel me? So you won't be walking around in this world blind to what's going on in the world. And this doesn't mean that you have to, you know what I'm saying? This doesn't mean you have to attack, you see what I'm saying, in a negative way to the people that's oppressing you. No, it's about understanding what the people who are oppressing you and what they're doing and who they are. It's about knowing that. You see what I'm saying? So you can combat that and free yourself, free your community, and free your people. You see what I'm saying? So, like, let me get this clear to my Biafrans and a lot of people. Like, check it out. The thing about New Africans and the New African independence movement, check this out. And I'm going to get into my topic. I'm going to kick it with y'all for a while today. I'm going to get in this topic in a second. But the thing about New Africans and the New African independence movement is that we don't hate no one. I don't hate nobody. You see what I'm saying? I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't even hate my oppressors. Because I feel like hate is a deep, significant thing. So I don't have to hate anything to disagree with it. You feel me? I can be in my right, morally principled mind to disagree with my oppressors. Like the United States of America. The United States of America have been oppressing New African blacks in this country for 400 years. That doesn't make me hate the United States of America. It just makes me understand my oppression and who's the oppressors. You see what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to like them. You feel me? But I think hate, you're going a little too extreme with the hate. You feel me? Like, I ain't got to hate you to know you my enemy. You feel me? And that's something that we all should try to, you know what I'm saying, overstand. You feel me? Because you can't fight this war with a confused mind and a diseased mind and an abnormal mind using hate. You will never win that way. You feel me? You will never win that way. Like the great Che Guevara stated, like, he loved his enemies so much that, you know, that's what gave him the energy, the heart, the courage to fight oppression and to defeat Western imperialism, is that he loved his enemies. You feel me? Because he knew that hate would subdue what he had to do in the struggle to liberate his people, man. That's just pure facts. So what I'm basically stating is that I don't have to hate the United States of America to know that they are oppressing my people. You feel me? And that I know that we have to scientifically change this society and change this government. You feel me? You don't need hate to understand that. You see what I'm saying? So, which brings me to my topic. Let me get into my topic about which is more dangerous to African freedom and liberation. U.S. Western imperialism or the Islamic extremist jihadist missions that's being carried out in the Middle East. First thing we got to understand, and the only reason why I'm bringing it up because of this murder and killing of the so-called ISIL leader, Abu Baghdadi, that was murdered in northern Syria the other day, is this, right? This is something we got to understand, people. This is something we got to understand. And I have to make this point so you can understand, is that when it comes to the media, you have to understand, people, the media is the number one enemy of oppressed people. And African people need to understand this. The number one enemy of African liberation and African freedom, the number one enemy and tool that's being used against us is the media. Because who is the media controlled by? This gonna break me up. It's gonna bring me to my whole point of this live. The media, man. The media is controlled. And you can write this down so you can remember this, so you can do your research. See, when I do these, I want y'all to go do y'all research. So you don't have to take my word as at face value. I want you to go do your studying. That's part of political education. Go research and study. You don't have to sit around and wait for people to come teach you things also. You can go do this on your own, my people. It's this. This is a well-known fact. The world global media, like CNN, BBC, but I'm going to stick strictly with the European media outlets because I don't want to get off track. All the United States, Britain, Saudi Arabia, all the main players of Western imperialism, Western media. This is what I want you to focus on. Western media. Western media is a CIA tool, an instrument to keep oppressed people oppressed. Facts. Go do your research, people. The CIA, the media is controlled by counterintelligence, the CIA of the United States of America. This is well-known facts. Go look that up. And another key thing that you need to look up when you're doing that research on Western media and the CIA controls media was this thing called Operation Mockingbird. Write that down. Operation Mockingbird. What is Operation Mockingbird? What was that? Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency that began in the early 1950s. And I would beg to differ that it was in effect way before the 1950s. It didn't just start in the 1950s. It just was made public in the 1950s. See, this is the thing you got to understand about Western imperialism. Everything is done ahead of time. They put it out when they want to put it out. You feel me? They'll make it known to the public in the world when they want it to be known to the world. They don't put it out when it's actually being operated. You feel me? Because that's their main strategy of moving in secrecy. Facts. So that began in the 1950s and attempted to manipulate news media for propaganda purposes. It funded student and cultural organizations and magazines and front organizations. Let me say that again. What was the Operation Mockingbird that was made public in the 1950s, but has been operating ever since the early 1900s, and I would say the late 1800s. Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency that began in the early 1950s and attempted to manipulate news media for propaganda purposes. It funded student and cultural organizations and magazines as front organizations. This is pure facts. In the early, and this is the key part I want you to get, because this is going to lead me up to what's going on in the Middle East. We already had one Cold War. What's going on in the Middle East is the second Cold War. And the reason why I'm teaching y'all is that all this that's going on is affecting Africa from getting free, man. You must understand this. All this has an effect on what's going on in Africa, because these two sides of the coin of, global oppressors are entering and been sabotaging and been conquering Africa, man, with their ideologies and their evil networking, murder, genocide, rape of African people, of their resources, and ultimately their lives. This is why so much genocide is going on in Africa. You have to understand the two sides of the coin of imperialism, because extremist Islamic jihadist movements are nothing but Arabic Islamic imperialism. Everybody has an oppressor in their ethnic groups. This is something you have to understand. There's classisms. It's classisms across the board in every country across the globe. You have your higher hierarchies, man. You have the higher class, the rich ruling class, and all those type of individuals who are in the higher class, the 1%. You see what I'm saying? Or they might not even be in that. They could be in the lower class also and be oppressors. You see what I'm saying? It could be the lumping. The lumping could be oppressors if they are using an ideology that's not beneficial to freeing oppressed people. You see what I'm saying? Morally, principally, and everything. You see what I'm saying? This is something you got to understand. So, two Cold Wars. The first Cold War was Russia and the United States of America. You must do your research on that also. The Cold War between the United States and Russia. You feel me? So what I'm basically saying, all these media sites, right? Because I don't want to jump too far off the topic. All these media sites, the major media sites like CNN, where we get our news from daily, all these popular magazines and things of that nature that we get all our information from. Now we're in the social media era. So now you got the CIA using social media to manipulate oppressed people and to put out false information, lies to the world, to keep us docile, to keep us ignorant to our oppression. You see what I'm saying? Something you must understand. So what I'm basically saying is that the United States and the CIA, and you need to focus on the CIA in the United States. All my brothers and sisters, you must focus on that, because this is ultimately going to show you which side of the coin is more dangerous to African liberation. Is that everything you see going on in the Middle East, all these subgroups and these groups and tribes that the United States, quote unquote, called terrorists, Islamic terrorists, and things of that nature, you have to understand, people, that these groups were created by the CIA, whether by advertently or inadvertently. They were created. I don't really like to say they were created inadvertently, because that's letting Western imperialism and the CIA in the United States of America off the hook. If you do your strict research, and I'm not talking about no conspiracy theories. I don't deal with conspiracy theory. I deal with scientific research, scientific facts that can be proven. You feel me? So this is facts when you're dealing with political education. Al-Qaeda, and I'm just going to use these groups as examples. Al-Qaeda, ISIL, all these so-called terrorist groups, you must know that the United States of America and the CIA created these organizations and these groups, man. Because the United States, because when you look throughout the totality of the struggle of the Middle East, why is the United States of America always present? Or why is Britain, the British, France, and their allies always present? They're always present when things are going the way they're going in the Middle East. Why are they always present? The United States was present when Saudi Arabia comes into existence. You must understand this, people. When Saudi Arabia, and I'm not letting Saudi Arabia off the hook today, because y'all got to understand Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia are nothing but Arabic Western imperialists. It's a Western imperialist kingdom and nation. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is backed by the United States of America and their allies, people. This is why so many Arabic other countries don't get along with Saudi Arabia, because they look at Saudi Arabia as a westernized, which it is, a Western imperialized kingdom and nation who's doing the bidding in that region for the United States of America. The United States of America backs Saudi Arabia for everything. They even helped Saudi Arabia come into existence to a certain degree. This is something you got to understand, people. You must understand that. And so what I'm trying to tell you and what I'm trying to explain to you is that you can't believe everything that the media is telling you about what's going on in that region. Because the main people who are facilitating what's going on in that region are the ones that's controlling the media, the CIA, the United States of America. This is facts, people. This is facts. Because let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to go back to the beginning real quick. After the first Cold War, let's get back into let's get into the second Cold War, the Cold War that's affecting Africa today, right now. Because the only reason why I'm saying this is affecting Africa is that Northern Africa and pushed down into East Africa and pushed down a little further into West Africa, which is Nigeria. You have Western imperialism coming from the British and the United States of America, and you have Islamic imperialism coming from the East, from the Middle East, that has pushed into Northern Africa, East Africa, and West Africa. And these groups are in Africa causing terrorism and keeping Africans from gaining total freedom of the land. This is facts. Because we know every war, every conflict is for land. Land and resources, people. Land and resources. And it's sad that Africa doesn't control none of this. Because you want to know why Africa don't control none of this? Because Africa doesn't have a global army to defend themselves, man. Because meanwhile, you got the Islamic imperialists and their extremist mission to take over the land in North Africa, East Africa, and West Africa, like they doing in Nigeria, using Boko Haram. See, Boko Haram is tied to all this also. The Fulani jihadists herdsmen are tied to this also. All these little subgroups is what we call proxy groups. So I got to throw that in there too. It's proxy civil wars. Like the little small internal wars are called proxy wars. Proxy wars are little civil wars and groups that are being manipulated by higher powers. Like what's going on in Syria. Syria, the little groups that are fighting in Syria are being manipulated and controlled by the United States of America and Western imperialism, and they're being controlled by other groups that's coming from the East that may be Muslim and Islamic. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this, and I hate to say this because Iran has a big role in this also. But I'm not going to really point the finger at Iran, but we do have to hold Iran accountable for certain things. But if you understand the origin and the history of Iran, then you'll know why Iran is looked at as as somebody that's trying to do the right thing. I'm going to just put it out there like that. Iran is somebody that's trying to do and live by the principal moral codes of smashing Western imperialism. But at the same time, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. You feel me? I don't agree with everything Iran do, but there are a lot of things I do agree with what Iran is doing because I know the political climate. I know what's going on there. You feel me? So let's go back to the beginning. We have to understand that. Saudi Arabia came into existence from the Ottoman Empire. You will have to do your research on the Ottoman Empire. This is how Saudi Arabia came into existence, from the Al-Sahad tribes. You feel me? The Al-Sahad tribes conquered that peninsula you know today as Saudi Arabia. And then here comes the United States of America backing them. You see what I'm saying? So now this takes me to Iran, why I can't really, you know what I'm saying, go in on Iran too bad. Because Iran has become somebody that has come into existence through fighting against Western imperialism. Let me just put it to you like this. You got to understand, in that region of Iran was a land of nothing but Islamic tribes. Iran, the landmass, was nothing but a landmass of Sunni Muslims in that region at one time. This land was invaded on two separate occasions by Russia and the British, by Africans. Pay attention. Iran was invaded twice by the British and by Russia. You feel me? And guess what happened after that? After all that conflict between Russia and the British of trying to conquer that landmass we know today as Iran, here comes the United States of America and the CIA. They come in and they implement a puppet. They put in a puppet regime in Iran. And I do believe that might be in the 1950s also, when the so-called Operation Mockingbird and all these things came into existence. I do believe. Let me get that date correct. I do believe. Yes, the early 1950s. The early 1950s. The leader of that time was overthrown by the United States of America and the CIA. And then they put in a puppet leadership. I'm trying to get the guy's name so y'all can do y'all research. The United States of America put in a puppet by the name of Reza Shah. Reza Shah was a United States of America puppet. He was implemented, put in the region. So at this point in time, you had Saudi Arabia, which was a United States-backed country and kingdom. Now you had a puppet leader in Iran in the early 1950s called Reza Shah. You see what I'm saying? Because this is going to make my point. Because when it gets to the 1960s and the 1970s, this is when the revolution of Iran takes place. In 1979, the revolution of Iran takes place. Here comes the Ayatollah, Khomeini and them. They overthrow the United States puppet and kick him out of Iran. And when they kicked him out of Iran sparked today what we know as the revolution of Muslim countries. The revolution to get Western imperialism out of the what we know today as the Middle East. So Iran, from the gate, was standing up against the oppression of Western imperialism. And the reason why I'm making this example, y'all got to understand, a lot of stuff in terrorism that you see in the Middle East today is being facilitated by Western imperialism. The United States and the CIA and Britain and France and Saudi Arabia. So this is why I'm saying this brings me to my point, is like Western imperialism is way dangerous to African liberation and the liberation of Africa than Islamic jihadist extremism. Because Islamic extremism and jihadi missions and movements are nothing but manifestations from Western imperialism, people. This is facts. This is pure facts. Because now you got people who are financing proxy wars, financing proxy groups to take back the land. This is over the land, people. And Saudi Arabia is a Sunni Muslim country. Iran is a Shia Muslim country. These two groups never really had conflict at first because all Muslim and Islam was the same. You see what I'm saying? And this is another thing I don't want too many African people to get caught up in, is the fact that just because somebody Muslim and they practice Islam don't make them your enemy. That's something that you have to get off, because it's a mental distraction, people. Every Muslim and every person that practices Islam is not your enemy. You might not have to agree with the religion. You might not have to convert to the religion. You don't have to believe in the religion. But my thing is this: stop looking at the world through the CIA propagandized Western imperialist media that makes you want to hate all Muslims. What makes you want to hate all Islamic following brothers and sisters and peoples of the world? That's not true. Because if you look at the Muslims, the extremist Islam is nothing but a child of Western imperialism. Because in a dialectical way, you feel me? In a dialectical way, the Islamic extremist jihadists was betrayed by Western imperialism, because Western imperialism has been using Islamic extremists and creating an Islamic extremist climate and environment because of the betrayal by the United States of America and the betrayal by Britain and the betrayal by the European nations and NATO and all these people who came into the Middle East and started these proxy wars, these civil wars, and used these people's groups to get for gain and interest of the land and the resources. It goes back to what I'm stating. It's all over land and resources. So a lot of these groups like ISIL, Al-Qaeda, these groups were created by Western imperialism. Western white imperialism is the most dangerous thing to African liberation and African freedom. So, Biafrans, when you see them jihadists, Boko Haram, and the Fulani herdsmen coming into southeastern Nigeria, causing terrorism all over Nigeria, who you think is facilitating that? Britain and the Europeans of the United States of America is facilitating that, brothers and sisters. The CIA is facilitating your genocide in southeastern Nigeria. But I notice a lot of Biafrans and a lot of Igbo people, they turn the blind eye to that because they look at you know, like all people in the world. They want to hold the United States of America to this high standard. But you don't understand how the United States of America operates in the world. You have to understand how Western imperialism operates in the world. But some people, let's keep it elementary, white supremacy, white global supremacy. You have to understand how that operates, people. And being that we know that a lot of Arabs are European, Eurasians descendants, now you can see why a lot of this stuff is manifesting in the Middle East. You see what I'm saying? So the Civil War, not the Civil War, the Cold War today that you see going on in the Middle East is between Saudi Arabia, which is backed by United States of America, and Iran, who is a nation that came into existence through revolutionary resistance. So we can't really point the finger at Iran because Iran is people who overthrew what we're trying to get free from. Is Western imperialism. You see what I'm saying? We can't really point the finger at Iran. Iran is doing what they have always done since the revolution of 1979. They're defending their sovereignty and their rights as a nation in this world. So you need to look more at Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is facilitating a lot of terrorism because they're financing terrorist groups also in that region to fight Iran. And I don't necessarily agree with Iran trying to conquer all the land. I would never agree with no nations trying to conquer all land. It's enough land on the world for all of us to have our own nation. The same thing that's going on in Nigeria, which makes Nigeria politics so abnormal and so dehumanizing, is that you don't need a Nigeria. There's enough land in that region that they call Nigeria to create nations who want their own nation, like Biafra, the Yoruba people, all these people who want their own nation. It's enough land. So that what makes, see, this is the thing you have to understand, people. This is what makes Western imperialism so dangerous and so evil and twisted, is that they want all the land. The United States, Britain, Europe, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and I'm gonna say Israel because Israel should be ashamed of themselves. It's enough land there for the Palestinian people. There's no reason Israel should be still attacking Palestinians who have no nation. The Palestinians deserve a nation. It's their human rights to have a nation state. Give the Palestinians their land. That's all you got to do. That's all Israel got to do. Give the Palestinians their land. You don't have to keep killing Palestinians. It's enough land for both nations. See, that's what I'm saying when it comes to Western imperialism. It's the most evilest thing on this planet because they don't want to share. Europeans don't want to share land. They want all the land, they want all the resources, and they want all the people on the planet as slaves and oppressed people with no land and no resources, like they do in Africa right now. Africans are suffering because of Western imperialism. Look it up. Ask yourself this question by Africans, like I said on one of my other lives. And I know y'all can see it because y'all live there. Why are there so many United States of America bases in Africa? You got so many United States of America bases all over Africa, but yet Boko Haram and the Fulani are still murdering innocent Igbo people, genociding Igbo people. How is that possible when you got the so-called quote-unquote greatest army and nation in your own country with army bases? There's no way. There's no way that Igbo people should be still getting murdered when you got over 40 to 50 United States of America bases on the continent. But they supposed to be about democracy. United States supposed to be the example of democracy. But Igbo people are being murdered, genocided every day on the continent. Africans are being genocided every day on the continent by extremist groups. So that brings me to my point. That brings me to my old point. If these Islamic extremist groups can kill innocent people, rape little girls, kidnap little girls, while the United States of America and all these other powerful European nations are present on the continent and they're not stopping it, so who controls who? See what I'm saying? You listen to what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. You cannot get Islamic extremism without Western imperialism. Western imperialism created Islamic extremism. Even though we have history of tribalism, tribalism has always been prevalent in the Middle East. So these are tribal groups that are always going to fight. We get that. But I'm talking about on a global level. A global level. Everywhere you see terrorism taking place, right? You seeing innocent people killed by quote unquote terrorism. But you have the United States of America that has the greatest army on this planet, the most expensive army on this planet. And innocent people are being raped, murdered, and killed while their bases are right there. So what that tell you? That tells you Western imperialism controls Islamic extremism. I'm trying to wake you up. I'm trying to wake you up. Because this is what Western imperialism does. They want you to focus on one group and one thing while they're doing their criminality behind the scenes of the illusion. Facts. Facts. While they're doing their dirt and evil behind the scenes, people. Every time you see a Islamic extremist terrorism attack, CIA is always present. The United States of America is always present. Now, like the example I stated earlier, when the ISIL leader got killed the other day, they used the Kurds, right? The Kurds were being exterminated by Turkey just a week or two ago. Donald Trump pulled the United States troops out of northern Syria, 1,000 troops out of northern Syria. But now, a week later, the United States of America, with the help of the Kurds, killed the ISIL leader, Baghdadi. Killed him the other day. So what that tells you, the United States of America is always present. They are always there. They are facilitating this shit, people. And like it's something that the Iran prime minister said the other day in the news. The death of Baghdadi means nothing to Iran because the United States of America killed their own creature. What did he mean by that? What did he mean by that statement? A lot of people ain't catch on to that statement. He said the killing of Baghdadi means nothing to Iran because the United States of America killed their own creature. Hence, killed Osama bin Laden. If you don't know by now, Osama bin Laden was a Western ally at one time and was controlled by the CIA at one time. Saddam Hussein, you feel me? Murdered. Omar Gaddafi, murdered. All this stuff is interconnected, people. You just got to see it. You see what I'm saying? And see, that's the most dangerous game that any freedom-loving people and leaders can do is play a game with Western imperialism. Because in the end, Western imperialism will eliminate you. After they use you up, they will kill you after they use you up for what they want to do, which is the proxy wars and the proxy conflicts between subgroups in these countries. They will use you at first. They will be your ally, shake your hand, because if you go on the internet, you will see a lot of pictures of United States presidents with Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, Osama bin Laden in his younger days, and a lot of these leaders in the Kurds, the leaders of the Kurds, and I'm pretty sure it ain't came out yet, but I'm pretty sure you're going to see some kind of picture of some kind of U.S. diplomat or official with Baghdadi that was just murdered, the leader of ISIL. Because we all know what happened in Libya with Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration. They did that. They facilitated that. They sent that mission to kill Gaddafi and eliminate Gaddafi with these proxy groups in Libya. And now look at Libya today. Libya is a failed state. Same thing that took place in Iraq. Iraq is a failed state. Look how many people done been killed in Iraq over the last 3-4 days. 200 to 300 people murdered in Iraq in the last couple of days. A failed state because the United States of America had no business invading Iraq. And the one thing that I'm going to give to Saddam Hussein is this. This is something y'all got to understand, people. And you need to pay attention. Before Saddam was murdered, you didn't see all these sub-terrorist groups in Iraq and Syria the way you see them today. You want to know why? Because Saddam Hussein kept that region clean. Saddam Hussein didn't like Al-Qaeda. Saddam Hussein didn't like Osama bin Laden. Saddam Hussein didn't like all these terrorist groups because you want to know why? He knew eventually that they would come over the borders and terrorize Iraq. So when Saddam was in that region, Saddam kept that area clean. He kept that area controlled from sub-terrorist groups because he knew once he got overthrown by the United States or by Western imperialism, look what you have today. Look what you have today in the Middle East. The Middle East is a hellhole today. ISIS wouldn't have never came into existence if Saddam Hussein was still alive, man. So that's why you got to look at Western imperialism, man. And the only reason why I'm saying all this is because we got to understand, man, this stuff is in Africa now. Northern Africa. And it's pushing into sub-Saharan Africa. So what does that mean for African liberation and African freedom for black people worldwide? If Africa gets taken over by Western imperialism, which it is being taken over because you got the neo-colonialist sellout puppet leaders there, but what if sub-Saharan Africa and South Africa gets taken over by Western imperialism and Islamic extremist imperialism, then what's going to happen to African people? What's going to happen to African people? Remember, that's what Hitler was trying to do. What was Hitler trying to do? Hitler was trying to wipe out every race that he did not like. Blacks, Jews, and even white people who wasn't pure white blood. You see what I'm saying? So, Africa, you're in a dangerous stage of existence. You're in a dangerous stage of existence, man. Because they're pushing down into sub-Saharan Africa, man. With these proxy conflicts, these proxy wars are spilling over from the Middle East into Africa. And now you got these sellout Islamic extremists in Africa with black skin that's murdering, raping women and daughters and killing innocent Africans all over Africa. In the Sudan, that's what's going on in the Sudan. That's why the Sudan is having an uprising. Because of that same shit. Islamic imperialism, extremism. That's what's going on in Northern Africa, Libya, Tunisia, Morocco, and the other countries that's quote unquote in the majority Islamic. These countries are being ran over by two forms of imperialism. Facts. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the table that both are dangerous to African freedom and African liberation worldwide. What we going to do, people? What we going to do? Because if Africa not free, no black person on this planet will ever be free. Ever be free. Never be free, man. Because it's all about controlling the resources and the land. And as you can see, we're not doing a good job of that. We're not controlling the land. We're not controlling the resources. Because you got two sides of the evil. Like my brother said, like Ndugu just said, state-sponsored. It's state-sponsored terrorism. Now you can use that word, terrorism, because it's all being state-sponsored across the map by Western imperialism and Islamic extreme imperialism. Both sides. But the reason I wanted to make this video and educate y'all is the fact that this is how you got to look at it from the hierarchy. You got Western United States imperialism and their allies. They are at the top of the ladder. They are winning across the globe on the chessboard. Western imperialism is at the top of the goddamn chessboard. Kwame Nkrumah, Ben pointed this out. The great Kwame Nkrumah, Ben pointed that out. Western imperialism runs and facilitates and dictates everything on the chessboard you see today. Now, by them doing that, you're going to have proxy manifestations taking place. That's the Islamic extremist imperialism you see going on in the Middle East. That shit comes from Western imperialism. So you have to always hold Western imperialism accountable for your genocide, your murder, your struggles that's going on in Africa. Biafrans. When you see a Boko Haram run into your villages and murder innocent girls and kidnap innocent girls, that is because of Western imperialism, not Islamic jihad. Because what I just teach you, Islamic jihad and extremism is a manifestation out of Western imperialism. So you must hold the United States and Britain and their allies responsible because they're not protecting you. Did they come to protect y'all yet? Is Britain or the United States protecting Igbo villages in southeastern Nigeria? Tell me today. I need some Biafrans, tap in. Are you being protected today by the United States Army in Nigeria from Boko Haram? Answer that right now. Are you being protected from the Fulani jihadists that's running into Igbo villages and other ethnic groups' villages in Nigeria? Are they being protected by the United States bases that's planted in West Africa? Are they being protected? So now you need to take a look outward, people. You have external forces facilitating your genocide in your villages and your communities in southeastern Nigeria and Igbo land. And all the other ethnic groups in the middle belt of Nigeria being killed every day. Imperialism is the cause. Imperialism is what's facilitating your genocide every day, man. Every little girl that gets kidnapped by Boko Haram is state-sponsored terrorism from Western imperialism, guys as Islamic extremism. All this shit go hand in hand, man. It's on the same bird. You got the bird, but you got it's two wings, same bird. See what I'm saying? Two different sides of the coin, but it's one coin. You feel me? There's always somebody facilitating your oppression. And the most dominant oppressor over the last centuries on this planet has been Western imperialism, period. Western imperialism is what created the slave trade and sent all our people from Africa over here and dispersed throughout the world in the African diaspora. Western imperialism. And before that, Arabic imperialism facilitated the slave trade. So that's what I'm trying to say to you is this. As in closing, this is what I'm saying. You can't believe everything the media says when it comes to terrorism, because Western media is controlled by the CIA. They put out anything they want to put out to the people, which is propaganda. You got good propaganda and you got bad propaganda. The CIA is using bad propaganda to control the masses of people to be genocided, exterminated, and oppressed. Something you must understand. So you must question every terroristic act that takes place from this day on if you didn't know what you knew before what I stated on this video today, and to go do some research and get politically educated about this serious topic. Because we got to get politically educated or Africa would never be free, man. Or no black people on this planet would never ever be free. So you have to look at what they quote unquote terrorism in a different scope, in a different light, a scientific light, so you can see it clear. You feel me? Because we all know, and we try to make excuses for it, but we all know the white man is doing everything on this earth to take the earth, control the earth, and eliminate everybody else off the planet. This is facts. Depopulation going on every day through all types of means, strategies, and tactics to eliminate oppressed people off the globe, specifically African blood. Facts. And I would debate anybody on that who want to debate that. Because it's facts. You feel me? So, in closing, remember, Islamic extremism that you see in the world is nothing but Islamic imperialism. It's a difference. Just like it's a difference in every country when it comes to oppression. Every Christian ain't no oppressor. Every Christian ain't a bad person. Every Muslim is not a bad person. You feel me? Every person that practices Islam is not a bad person. It's the political ideology and the doctrine you have to pay attention to understand who's bad and who's evil. And to separate the good from the evil. You can't just judge people off of just because what the propaganda CIA media tells you what they are. You feel me? You have to understand the whole historical material, chronology of all this in the world. You must study that. You must research that. Every Muslim ain't an Islamic imperialist. It's not true. Some of my greatest elders and freedom fighters are Muslims and believe in the Islamic faith, but they use the Islamic faith for good, to liberate our people. I'm not a Muslim, but my elders and teachers, majority of them are. Some of them Christians. Some of them believe in African traditional spirituality. You feel me? But you must not get hypnotized by the propaganda of the CIA and their media, people. You got to get out of that, man. So you can see the battle up front, see the struggle up front, and understand that it's imperialism from the West that's causing all oppressed people problems and all black people problems globally. Period. Exactly, my brother. Exactly. Exactly what this brother just said. There is no European countries wishes to see Africa and its people happy or become a free nation of people. Facts. So every time you see that black-skinned sellout, Boko Haram, or the Fulani herdsmen, just know they are toys and instruments of white European imperialism. Everybody that they kill in Africa, even and we taking it to East Africa too, because you got Al-Shabaab in East Africa, in the Sudan, who works under the extremist imperialism of extreme Islam. Al-Shabaab. When you see Al-Shabaab murder innocent people in Kenya, Sudan, Tanzania, Egypt, up and down the east coast of Africa, when you see Al-Shabaab bombing and killing innocent African brothers and sisters, all that is on the behalf of Western European imperialism, because there are United States bases in Sudan and in those countries where Al-Shabaab is doing their worst terroristic acts. Why the United States of America ain't killing Al-Shabaab or stopping Al-Shabaab for killing these innocent African brothers and sisters, man? Why? Tell me. So on that note, man, you know, I don't overlap my time. You know, I don't went over my time. But I want to say thank y'all for tuning in again. I told myself I'm going to start doing more lives, man. I'm going to try to start doing more lives on a lot of topics. This is a topic that I want to really to get in, because I want to start talking about more, more of what's going on now. You feel me? What's going on in the news, in the world now. So I'm going to try to get to as much as I can when I have free time. You feel me? Because we must educate each other. Each one, teach one, reach one, brothers and sisters. From the African continent to the African diaspora. We got to help each other out. We got to teach each other things we might not know. But a lot of us are already on the same level. Mentally, spiritually, and, socially and politically. We just got to keep teaching each other and unifying each other, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to close out on that note, man. All hail to Biafra. All hail to New Africa. Free the land. Free the people. And most important, Free the mind. I'm out.